cobbled stones, little bits of skin and bone, jumping on a tram car for a ride. I can remember then, 'cause I was just a boy of 10, hanging around the old quayside. Now all the capstans and the cargo boats and stevedores are gone, to where all the old ships go, but memories just like the seas live on. 'Cause that was when coal was king, the river was a living thing, and I was just a boy, but it was mine, the Coley time. For this was a big river, I want you all to know that I was proud. This was a big river, but that was long ago, that's not now. That's not now. My father was a working man, he earned our living with his hands. He had to cross the river every day. He picked up a Union card out of the Neptune yard, mouths to feed and bills to pay. There came a time for him to say.
Good morning, on day 2, and ironically this is, well, the second section of what I've actually seen. So the first section was at the very start of it, and the rest of it through sort of the Newcastle and everything. There are some sections, but you've got to go rummaging through housing estates and to go and find them. So that's for another time, because I didn't have the time yesterday. I had about, it was about between 14 and 16 miles I did yesterday. So I'm walking along, so this is the first section of the wall that sort of I've seen exposed. Absolutely typical what the Romans would do. They would build this outer skin, you can see that there, which is like your standard wall going down. It was exactly the same on the other side, and then the inside would be filled with rubble and cement, but you can see how sturdy and everything it still is. This section here, I'm told it would have stood about 4.5 metres high in its day, but obviously stones and everything have been taken over the last 2,000 years. So yeah, onwards and upwards, 10 miles to go today, so it's a bit of an easier trot today, and it should hopefully get a lot nicer, a lot more scenic. So, see you later, bye.
The Neptune was the last to go, I heard it on my radio, and then they played the latest #1. But what do they do all day? And what are they supposed to say? What does a father tell his son? If you believe that there's a bond between our future and our past, and try to hold on to what we have, we build them strong, we build to last. 'Cause this is a mighty town, built upon a solid ground, and everything they've tried so hard to kill, we will rebuild. For this was a big river, I want you all to know I'm so very proud
Morning, just left the guest house. It's feeling a bit colder today. It's really fresh, but hopefully the rain holds off. It's forecast for rain, but hopefully we don't get any. So as soon as I've left the guest house this morning, as I'm walking up, I've got this section on my left, which is essentially a big ditch. So there's a great big load of it. I've been walking past it for a good 5 minutes before here. This was called the Vallum. This was erected about 130 years approximately after the wall was built. It's a ditch and a mound of earth basically, with usually another ditch and another mound of earth beyond it. And this was actually on the Roman side of the wall, so it wasn't on the north side. This was more of a bit of a no man's land, and nobody apart from Roman soldiers or selected people were allowed there. I suppose it's like a sort of border control. Yeah, there's still not much evidence of wall, so I've got the military road on my right hand side now. That was built initially around the 1700s, 1750. Now what they did was they followed the line of the wall, and they used anything that was left of it, any stone that was there, they crushed it and used for the foundation. So one historian has called them wretches for doing this. But as I go on today, I'm going to start seeing much more of the wall and some of the forts and things that were built around it, or evidence of them. Alright, ciao for now. Ciao for now.
Will you search through the lonely earth for me? Climb through the briar and bramble. I'll be your treasure. I felt the touch of the kings and the breath of the wind. I need the call of all the songbirds. They sang all the wrong words. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Swim through the briny sea for me, crawl along the ocean's floor. I'll be your treasure. I'm with the ghosts of the men who can never sing again. There's a place, follow me, where a love lost at sea is waiting for you, is waiting for you.
So I've barely walked a mile now, and already I've seen a great use of the topography by the Romans. Wherever they could, they'd build on top of these crags. So you can see now, if you were storming this section, you've got this whole slope to run up. Videos never make it look as steep as it actually is. But that's a whole slope going right down there. You'd have to run up and keep coming and running up this thing here. Now where you see that pile of rubble, that's actually the other side of the ditch. So all that has fallen down. It was originally on the other side. So you've then got a ditch to go into, which also makes the wall appear taller and scale. You can imagine at the time a 4.5 metre section of wall there. So I mean, you pretty much guarantee you'd never storm this section. This is the way you're going to come. But I thought it's just a brilliant use of how they were building, making use of any defensive position that they can. Here's that ditch that we're talking about. We've got to try and get
Above there are no stars tonight, just northern skies, reflected light upon your face. Some people think stars rule our lives, some people they think otherwise, they can be replaced. Where did you go on that big black night? Did you take the coast road back through your life? See the sand, the moon, the stars that shine the light and say, well, they'll do alright for me. We shroud our lives in mysteries, brooding stars and stormy seas, if we have any sense. Storm clouds roll, are free to break, and we're free to make the same mistakes again and again. Where shall we go on that big black night? Shall we take the coast road back through our lives? See the sand, the moon, the stars that shine the light and say, well, they'll do alright without me. Stars tonight, just northern skies, reflected light, fields of snow. Some people think stars rule our lives, some people they think otherwise. What does anybody know? Where shall I go on that big black night? Shall I take the coast road back through my life? See the sand, the moon, the stars that shine the light and say, well, they'll do alright for me. Shall I go on that big black night? Shall I take the coast road back through my life? See the sand, the moon, the stars that shine the light and say, well, they'll do alright for me. Stars and constellations sit beneath their congregation.
There's a guy around this way who walks the streets you used to play. And everybody knows his name, they whisper it. Little soldier, if you got nowhere to run.
Still got a headache. Still feeling rough. But look where I am. Climbed to the top of this hill. And it's just tons of wall again. You see, it's so much. It just goes on and on. There is a big, down at the bottom, looks like an old fort. And they built a crossing for the river there, and you can still see some of the old bits about it. It's pretty special. I've got another 3 miles to go, and in my head it may as well be another 20. I've just had to sit down, had a slurp of water, the last of the rocky road. I'm going to get going again. Alright, see you later, bye.
Little soldier, don't you know where you come from? Now it steps out from the shadows, and underneath the streetlight sees you playing. He knows what you're after, he knows your face and knows your name. Where have all the children gone? Where have they gone and what have they become? Where have all the children gone? They're gone for soldiers, everyone. Now he's whispering in your ear and you recognize the voice. Or was it not to be afraid of? Don't you know where he comes from? Ain't you known him all along? Maybe he's gonna get you everything you want. That's what he said. Always brave, little soldier. Now you're not so little anymore. Little soldier, someone's knocking at your door. All the little soldiers, where have all the little soldiers gone? Maybe they got older, maybe they've all gone to get their glory.